exciting. So we have to do a part three. And we are taking it back to women's health because when we did the first segment with women's health, we didn't go into the body types that women may have and how their diets can influence weight gain or weight loss or their general health. So we're going to do that for you today. So listen up and give us your questions at the end, of course. And then we may get to tell you about some of the exciting things that we have planned for you. Or we may keep it a secret. Keep it a secret. Okay.
If they're good, we'll tell them.
So in studio, we have again with us Mrs. Charmaine Barnwell, and we're just going to delve right into it because there's a lot to talk about as usual.
So, good afternoon, listeners, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. We value your listening ear. So, today we're looking at nutrition for women's health, but we're taking it differently. Last time we looked at the different physical stages and phases of women, looking at how different aspects of our life cause fluctuations in our hormones that require different nutritional needs. But generally, we're going to be looking at the different body types, kind of like what we did last week for the men. I think that was more relatable rather than just the stages and phases, because even in those phases and stages, you still have to deal with your body type. So we're going to go through the three body types again, starting with, of course, the ectomorph. I'm always going to start with the ectomorph, which is Dr. Davy, of course, the long, lean, slender body type, long arms, long legs, long torso, very narrow wrists, very narrow shoulder and collarbones. This body type is God's gift. Yes, this body type has a very high metabolism. They have a very high metabolism, and with that high metabolism, their nutritional needs are going to be very different. So with this body type, you will need more complex starches, right? So you need a bit more of your organic starches and your high fiber, your vegetables, as well as protein, a lot of protein because of their slender body type. They have less muscle. So they're not going to utilize as much protein, but if they're going to build protein, and if they want thicker thighs or a larger butt, they'll have to up their protein. The cardio, they will do less cardio and more strength training. Strength training and resistance is good for this body type to build and maintain that muscle. You need muscle. Muscle is going to help you stabilize your body, it's going to protect your bones, and it's going to help you metabolize your food better. So that's the ectomorph body type. So a bit more high starch vegetables, looking at those organic vegetables, maybe the edibles and the breadfruit and so on, that's better for you, as well as your high fiber, protein, and fats. You need fats, but in lesser content. The reason for that is their body burns so much energy that the fats are not accessible enough for them.
I could tell you my personal experience with that. It's like I would just go through food. People be like, I thought you never used to eat. So when they see me eat, they're like, hmm. But yes, I would burn the same amount of food in no time, and other persons will be struggling with that amount of food.
That's a common misconception that a lot of people have about slender body types. They assume that you get that body type from not eating, when the reverse is true, where you need more snacks to maintain that sort of high metabolism. There's a fire inside of you.
And then what you said is true as well. When I first started the gym, I was started on a lot of cardio, and it was burning both fat and muscle.
And muscle, yes.
So you're looking scrawny. So you have to up your protein if you're doing a gym routine,
Yes.
so your muscles wouldn't waste away. So now I can actually show off a little bit of tricep there.
A little thickness there.
Yes.
Yes. So this body type, as we say, is liver dominant, right? So it's liver dominant. So what happens with this body type is if it is not fed well. So as I say, you need snacks. I mean nuts. I mean those healthy snacks, nuts, and maybe some plantain chips, maybe some Edo's chips, or maybe a nice fruit medley. those are good snacks, not corn curls and pizza and all of those trans fats. If this body type is not well nourished, the liver dominance, as in their ability to metabolize, it affects the liver, and then you get autoimmune disorders such as fatty liver disease.
Mm-hmm.
So you would find, as much as you may not put on fat on your arms and your thighs, you tend to get a distended tummy because now the fat is being stored in the liver, right? Around the organs, which is much more dangerous than the next body type that we're looking at, because fat in your organs mean that they're basically squishing your organs, blocking the capillaries of your organs. Your organs cannot function well, toxins build up, not healthy. So the next body type we're looking at is the endomorph, which is on the opposite spectrum of the ectomorph. It's the thicker body type. We're looking at what we will call the pear shape, right? So that's me. So small, slender arms, small boobs, but thicker thighs, especially in the butt, the legs. That's where most of the weight is stored. And this body type actually has to stay away from those high starch foods that we listed out. So cut back on the provisions and get your carbohydrate sources from more vegetables, those low glycemic index vegetables. So we're looking more at the salad and the steamed vegetables, those fruits that are less
citrus.
Yes.
Definitely.
They're definitely citrus. Less sugary. So stay away from grapes and eat those in lesser portions.
The mango, the banana, the pineapple, those three.
All those very high in sugar. So this body type, it is actually what we call estrogen and cortisol dominant. So estrogen dominant means this body type is more susceptible to things like fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, those sorts of diseases that are linked to estrogen and the uterus. Cortisol dominant as well, or adrenal dominant, those diseases that affect the adrenal glands. So things like Cushing's disease, depression, and then they get the tummy. So this body type sort of morphs into something very unlike what we are accustomed seeing. So the big butt and the flat tummy over time will eventually become squared in that area. So they'll eventually get a tummy to match the butt. Not so much in the boobs, but the tummy will become distended. So then the proportion of the flat tummy to the thick thighs will just merge into just a larger lower region. Right? And at this point, you can expect lots of other autoimmune diseases, because with the adrenal gland and the ovaries working together, it's a very difficult combination, because those two hormones, estrogen and cortisol, they're very toxic in high levels in the body. It can lead to cancers like breast cancer and so on. So this body type needs to stay away from the high starch, stay away from the high sugar, have more of a low glycemic index diet. Anything that is high in fructose, high in glucose, we stay away from that. I would say the ketogenic diet is the best diet for this type of body type, but not ketogenic as it is proposed in the diet fad way. We're not looking at fats as in mayonnaise that actually has a lot of sugar, and fatty oils that are not healthy like soybean oil. I'm looking at healthy fats like avocados.
That we have so much of.
Thank you
It was
very
good
much.
though.
Thank you very much. It is not advised that you eat the fattiest part of the meat, as most people on the ketogenic diet would do, or the cheeses, because that dairy and the trans fat is not good for the estrogen. So we're looking at healthier fats, seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, linseeds, chia seeds. We're looking at healthy oils like coconut oil, olive oil. You can drizzle that on your salad instead of using mayonnaise as dressing. Have a lot of lime so that it can cleanse your liver, so that your liver can actually help your body to purge all that estrogen and cortisol, because your liver is what really helps to relieve the toxins out of your body. and focus a lot on your protein intake to help you remain full. Protein that is from healthy sources. So I always speak about grass-fed beef because we have grass-fed beef here in St. Vincent. Less hormones, the rich omega-3 and omega-9 fatty acids that we need. Get the omega-6 fatty acids from our healthy oils. Those healthy oils are going to help balance your estrogen. It's going to help to keep your blood glucose levels at a regulated stage, and it's going to help you metabolize your fat better, because if your body does not have that spike in insulin, it helps you to create ketones that will help in ketosis, help you to burn fat, help your liver to push out glycogen, help your body to maintain proper leptin levels so that you won't feel hungry all the time, which is actually ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that is timed. So if you eat on time, ghrelin is the one that sends a signal to say that you're hungry, but leptin is your true hunger hormone.
Yeah.
So with the low glycemic index diet and with healthy fats, it will help your body to regulate these three hormones: cortisol, estrogen, and insulin. This body type needs a lot of cardio. Okay, so if you don't like being in the gym with the cardio, if you're an endomorph, you have thicker thighs, thicker butt, you have to do cardio. So if it means running on the treadmill for half hour or walking for 45 minutes to an hour, plus your weight training, so the muscle is going to help you to metabolize the fat. So you do more weight training so you can build that muscle to metabolize the fat, and then you do your cardio that's going to help your body build up that sort of metabolism with the cardio, the aerobic exercise. So sorry, my ladies who have the big butt, that's both a blessing and a curse. That body type is specifically more efficient at burning energy. That's really what it means. Your body is more efficient at burning energy. So whereas Dr. Devi would waste away if she does not have a snack every 4 to 5 hours, you can basically fast for a 5, 6, 8 hour period and not feel as irritable and as hungry.
Hungry.
Yes, hungry. And lastly, we have the mesomorph. I like the mesomorph body type because they have everything. They have the voluptuous bosom, the flat stomach, and the, curvy thighs and butt. This body type is very balanced. And this body type is what we would consider thyroid dominant. So for the ladies who, their diet leads them to autoimmune disorders, you'll find themselves more with like thyroiditis. These are usually tall ladies as well. They usually tend to be tall, broad in the shoulders, and so on. Very well built, I would say. This body type, when nourished well, they can lose weight easily, they can gain weight easily. So it depends on how they manage their diet and their lifestyle. A lot of exercise would mean they will be very slim. They can even look like an ectomorph if they really push the exercise and the diet. They can have that lean, slender, balanced body, still have a little heavy bosom, still have a little thighs and so on, but they can be very slender. And if they, overdo it.
So now you can confuse me for mesomorph.
Yes,
a little bit.
Yes, a little bit, because you have some curves that you acquired in the gym.
Yes.
This body type is very balanced, as in they can have a bit of starchy vegetables, they can have their high fiber vegetables, they can have more fruits than an endomorph, more sweet fruits. So the grapes and the bananas and the pineapples, they can indulge a little. But it is still recommended that they have a balance of good fats, right? They need the good fats because they have a bit more muscle. So they're going to need to maintain that full feeling because their muscle is going to be burning some good calories. With the thyroid dominant body type, this body type is very difficult when out of control. because with the thyroid it can affect everything, and
Everything.
yes,
Hormones, yeah.
yes, the thyroid,
Diabetes
it
or
affects everything. So there is no way to say how this body type will specifically respond to having an imbalance in their thyroid, or having an infection or inflammation in their thyroid. So this body type, yes, it looks beautiful if well kept, but if it is not well nourished, it can lead to severe illness, even temporal arthritis, even if the of the brain, autoimmune disorders of the brain, diabetes. There is no, you can even have ovarian issues with this, because the thyroid and the ovaries, the pituitary gland, they all work together. So it's very important that a mesomorph body gets the nutrients that they need, even though they have the flexibility of gaining and losing weight quite easily. Yeah, so these are the different body types. With the ectomorph, I would suggest for breakfast that they can have some toast and avocado, seeing that we've been eating so many avocados. They can have some toast and avocado with a nice cup of cocoa tea or bush tea, whatever is their preference. And then around 10, 11 o'clock, they can have like a nice yogurt bowl, some unsweetened yogurt drizzled over some fruits. That would be a nice snack for them. And for lunch, they can have maybe some nice brown rice, a nice green salad, steamed peas, steamed vegetables there, and a decent sturdy piece of meat of their choice. And for dinner as well, they can eat something like maybe some cornmeal soup, right? Cornmeal soup, cornmeal porridge, right? Some coconut milk cornmeal porridge is good with a little bay leaf. Good. That's delicious.
Very, very good.
Right? That would be a standard breakfast for rice, because during the night, that little cornmeal, the little starch in the cornmeal will help to keep them full, so they won't wake up ravenous in the morning.
I know, I used to often wonder what on earth is wrong with me, that I would go out for dinner, and the heavier dinner that I would have, I would wake up slim. But when I don't eat much, I look bloated. So yeah. I cracked that code even long before reading about these things.
Oh, because you realize your body burns more, the more you give it, the more it burns.
Yes.
And that's why I say, you mix in the fats, and you keep a small window between your meals, because your body is going to be burning so much. And the reality is, when we leave our bodies too long to go without food, when we're eating, we're so unconscious, because it's like survival. Like, give me my food, I'm starving. So it's very difficult to maintain a regimen, a dietary regimen, if you're sporadic with your meals. Because hunger can make us do crazy things.
Yes, and you'll be surprised as to how many patients I've interviewed where when you ask them about their eating patterns, we don't eat too much, I sometimes skip this and I sometimes skip that. And I was like, maybe that's your issue, yes, depending on your body type. And it's like, but is there a time that after you've done these habits over and over where it's too late to recover? Is there such a thing?
No, I don't think that there is such a thing as too late to recover. There is too late to reverse certain damage that is done. Right? So if you're diabetic, if you were diagnosed with diabetes at this stage, the diabetes won't go away, but the symptoms of the diabetes can go away. So you can change your diet where your blood sugar levels are not so sporadic, where you don't experience very high highs and low lows. So you can maintain your blood glucose levels with your diet. But that's not to say if you decide to have ice cream or you veer off from the diet, that the diabetic condition will not still be there.
Right.
Same thing with your thyroid. If you have thyroiditis, if you have endometriosis, all of those conditions you can, because they are syndromes, right? They are syndromes, so they come with a lot of different symptoms. These symptoms are indicators that something is wrong. When we correct the imbalance, you correct the symptoms that come with the syndrome. So when you revert to the way that you're eating the bad habits, then the symptoms will
Will come
come
back,
back
yeah.
because you already have the syndrome. You've already done the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, there is a stage where you cannot reverse the diagnosis, but you can reverse the symptoms and the negative effects of the symptoms. So, the painful menses, infertility, the growth, actual growth of the fibroids, you can, eat in a way that they eventually shrink, they decalcify. But once you start to eat that way that you were eating before,
Yeah.
so the diet must be consistent. It's not something that you start to get rid of or to stop. It is something that you have to adopt as your new lifestyle.
Yes, I like that, the lifestyle. And I wish that more persons would understand that you don't make a little change here and then it cures you, you go back to bad behavior. It doesn't work like that at all.
Well, funny thing about the endomorph, right? The endomorph, because the endomorph is more ovarian and adrenal dominant in hormones, which is a thicker, voluptuous lower
Lower body.
region, right? This body type for breakfast will have to not consume starch because starch and sugars early in the morning is just already gonna spike your sugar. And that's gonna be very difficult to reverse because a lot of people assume that when I pop sugar in my mouth, or my body needs sugar. The reality is your body has four different energy systems, right? The four different energy systems is hydrolysis, which is getting sugar directly from your food. So you eat a banana, boom, sugar. Then there is glycolysis. So your liver actually stores sugar, right? When that sugar store is depleted, there is ketosis, where your body then releases ketones and it converts fat into glycerol, which is a sugar alcohol. And then when that's not enough, in the late stages of starvation, you have autophagy, where your body starts breaking down muscle for energy. So with so many different energy stores for sugar, ATP, you really don't need extra sugar in the diet because everything you eat is going to convert into sugar. So this body type, which is very efficient at burning and using sugar, I would always suggest a nice salad for breakfast with eggs, right? So salad for breakfast with eggs. If you're somebody who really don't like eating crunchy vegetables, a green smoothie. And when I say a green smoothie, make everything that you put in there green. So a bit of spinach, some ginger, lime. You can put celery. Your celery is very good for cleansing your liver. And then you can have like tea. That's another green thing that you can have. You can have tea with your salad and your dairy free, of course. You don't want too much dairy with this body type. For lunch, you can have a bit of a heavier lunch because at this time your body would have basically revved up. It takes a while for this body type to actually start up the metabolic process, the digestive process. So anywhere around 10, 11, you have you can probably have steamed pumpkins, as some steamed banana, or why are you looking you look so disappointed with that breakfast and that lunch. But it's a very delicious lunch. You can have bulgur with a bit of
He doesn't know how
codfish.
to cook, that's why.
Oh,
We're teaching.
yes, healthy food is tasty food because it's rich in herbs and spices, but low in sodium and sugar. Remember that, right? So you have your one or two slices of complex carbohydrate starches, not simple starches. So stay away from the large portions of rice and look for more organic, maybe quinoa as opposed to the rice because quinoa is high in protein than in starch. And you have your steamed vegetables or your salad. Now, the reason why I keep pushing vegetables is we're actually supposed to have 4 to 5 servings of vegetables a day.
How do you find time for that?
Well, that's the problem. So let's just say we have 3 and we call that a balance. Okay, we cannot have everything. So let's say we have 3 to 4 servings of vegetables in our meals. It's better than 1.
Yep.
Right? So I'm always gonna be pushing the vegetables for this body type. But what you really wanna have is your fats, right? So on your salad, make your salad dressing using healthy oils. Olive oil with some lime, some herbs and spices, shadam bini, some oregano, some parsley, a little bit of sea salt, And I'm always going to put sea salt because of the magnesium and the different minerals that are in the sea salt over the table salt.
Mm-hmm.
Even though table salt is iodized, the iodine is not effective if you do not have the magnesium and other minerals to transport it around your body. So I'm always going to push for our local sea salt, right? If you don't want to use the local sea salt, then you can use Celtic salt or pink Himalayan salt.
Or they can go down to you and I will pick it.
Or you can pick, yeah, that's a very good
Kind of one.
getaway.
Mm-hmm.
You pick your own salt in Union, kind of one.
Mm.
But you know, you have rich fats in your salads, and then you have rich fats in your meats. So I'm not gonna suggest that you eat the fatty part of pork or things like that because that's not the kind of fat that we want. We want the bone broth. We want the marrow. That's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
We want that rich or organ meat. Organ meats are very healthy for this body type because you need that iodine. These body types are susceptible to things like fibroids and endometriosis. These are things that deplete iron, phosphorus, iodine. They basically suck all the nutrients from your blood to feed these systems.
These roots or
Right?
whatever.
So especially if you have like endometrial hyperplasia where the lining of your uterus becomes very thick. Yes, it sucks all the iodine out of your body. It sucks the iron, it sucks the phosphorus, the magnesium, the potassium. So what happens is you may find that you're very thick and looking nice and voluptuous, but you're anemic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're anemic, and with that anemia, you get zinc deficiency. So then your hair starts to thin, your skin starts to look dry and not as supple. Collagen is lost, all because these growths are actually taking all the nutrients from your food. So yes, I would always push for callaloo, organ meat, healthy omega-369. Omega-369 balances our estrogen, right? So safflower oil, linseed oil, avocado oil, olive oil, right? And for dinner, very light soup, a clear soup. So tomato soup. I love that. I love tomato soup or tomato choker. If you're Trinidadian, you know what tomato choker is,
Yes.
right?
Or if you go there
Yes.
too many times.
Pumpkin soup, a 3-bean soup, very light 3-bean soup. Don't overdo it with the beans. And that soup is gonna help to keep you full. It's not gonna be too heavy in your stomach. And by the time you get up in the morning, you still have a little bit of sodium and everything that your body needs. So by the time you hit the sun and you get that vitamin D, everything's gonna start the ball rolling. With the mesomorph, you can have a balance of both. You can eat light in the morning or you can eat heavy in the morning. It depends